Good evening. Welcome to the Cheltenham Exchange. We're back again, second time this week, and we're going to bring you a brief preview of the Cheltenham Showcase meeting Friday and Saturday, as the jump season really gets underway. So, once again, a brief mention for our friend Lloyd from Hacked Up Racing Gifts, who is a non-funded supporter. We're not like the Conservative Party taking money off donors. We're just friendly guys. We better not get started on politics. So thanks to Lloyd at Hacked Up Racing Gifts. Give him a check out, and thanks to all you folks out there who've been how do we say it?
Liking and subscribing.
Liking, subscribing. I was trying to think of a different way of saying it. Interacting.
That's a good word. That's a good word.
Interacting. Yeah. We've got over 500 subscribers on YouTube now this week, which is a bit of a milestone for ourselves. Just a group of lads enjoying a chat about racing. So thank you all. And yeah, keep sharing, watching, liking, and subscribing if you can. Tell your friends all about it. I've not got much prep done today, so it's going to be pretty informal. And without further ado, we'll get into things. So tomorrow at Cheltenham, we get underway in the 135 with the Showcasing Sustainability Conditional Jockeys Handicap Hurdle. Over 2.5 miles a furlong. Field of 16 in this one. Top of the market, we've got Calico. And then we've got a few horses sitting around 30-2, 7-1. We've got a couple of Irish horses in there. And last year, this was won by Samba Dancer for Fergal O'Brien. So, who would like to kick us off with the opening race? I'll chuck it out there for you boys.
Go on, Johnny.
Go on, John.
Throw him under the bus.
Thanks for that. Sorry, I haven't introduced you guys today, but everyone knows who you are already. Alex, Ian, and John, obviously. Matty's lost on the train again. So, yeah, kick us off with the 135, John.
Right, well, it's quite a competitive heat, this one, to start us off. Some very big fields tomorrow for a change, which is good. But I'm going to side with one of my old favourites, One Cool Poet. Now, he's a dual-purpose horse who's been sent over from Ireland by Matthew Smith. He's used to performing in these big handicaps, and he seems to run every other week at the minute, whether it's over the flat or over the jumps. Normally in the big handicaps back home, he's generally top weight in them, so he's like quite near to the bottom of the weights tomorrow for a change. So I feel he might have a bit of an each-way squeak off that weight. It's his first visit over here, so I'm hoping he can take to the track. And with him being 10 years old, I'm thinking that, maybe this is a race he thinks he can go well in and pick up some cash, because, he's not going to be looking for something later on in the season here. So I just feel that maybe they think they can win this, or at least place in it and pick up a good pot of cash. So, yeah, I don't think he's over here for a holiday, so I'm going to stick with him.
Okay, he's pretty shrewd trainer, that Matthew Smith, isn't he? I like keeping an eye on his runners.
Yeah, I think he's about 12-1?
Current price on Bet365, 12-1, indeed. On the ball there, John.
So each way shout on him for me.
Okay, so One Cool Poet for John. Ian?
I've gone for our new friend, Mr. DJ Jeffries, Lively Citizen. Got Archie Bellamy claiming 6 tomorrow, so it's 10-9, so we'll have a nice weight of about 10-3. Has fantastic form at Cheltenham. Figures I've put 1, so a win, a second a win, but his last race was pulled up. I believe his saddle slipped around about the first fence or hurdle and was pulled up. But his last win was in December 21, so it's quite a fairly recent win. Quick few notes. I put he was second in the Imperial Cup behind the surprise package at Sandown in March, and has raced the majority of his races in Class 1 and 2 last season. So it's interesting. It's come down to a Class 3. We're hoping that the only, I say, worry is the ground. So we're hoping for a drop of rain either tonight or in what are supposed to be thunderstorms tomorrow, I believe. So the softer ground will help Lively Citizen, but say it should be okay. Goodish, good to soft ground should be fine. But that's my pick. Lively Citizen, about 8-1 with Bet365.
Hey, Lively Citizen for Ian and somebody else. When you say we're hoping, who else are you on board with DJ here, Ian?
I might be. That's just the collective way. I'm just
Good stuff.
The royal we.
Great stuff. The royal way.
all of us, the whole of Canby are back in Lively Citizen.
Lively Citizen for Ian and Alex. Who are you at the meeting tomorrow, Al?
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
A few of us going up,
Keep
so
an eye
looking
out
forward
for
to it.
Alex. Throw rotten veg at him and all that.
By McGuinness.
Exactly, yeah. Buy me Guinness if you see me. That'd be nice. My selection for this race is actually the same as Ian's. Looking for Lively Citizen. As you said, Archie Bellamy claiming a very valuable £6. Really strong form at Cheltenham. I was there last year when he won in December. Beat Broomfield Berg. Horse is carrying a featherweight. He's up a little bit since then, but I'm not too worried about the weight. He's running off the same mark as when he was second in that Imperial Cup, so I'm expecting him to be very competitive.
Lovely. So Ian and Alex both on Lively Citizen. Would suggest a strong selection there. That Imperial Cup last year you just mentioned then, Al, was that
This
a
year,
race
sorry,
that you were
Imperial Cup.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was the Imperial Cup this year, so like 6-7
this year.
ago.
Okay. Was it last year that it was a race you were following form-wise?
Well, yeah, it's one of those horses where he's sort of been because he's always run well and really always placed well, always finished well at Cheltenham. It's one that I've always sort of kept an eye on. I think with Cheltenham, particularly, I mean, it's very much sort of horses for courses, and there are some horses that you know are never going to get up the hill, and there are some horses that seem to get to the hill and just seem to just thrive for it, and he seems to be one that thrives to get up the hill. So, yeah. Hoping for a big performance tomorrow.
Excellent. So wishing all the best for Mr. DJ Jeffries. So first race done, Lively Citizen for Ian and Alex, and One Cool Poet for John the Hammer. Moving swiftly along even to the second race of the day, the 2:10, which is squareintheair.com Novices Chase, Class 2 Chase over 2 miles. Got another Irish one in here for Gordon Elliott. And this race last year was won by Third Time Lucky. Skelton horse, was it?
Yes. Yeah.
I seem to
One of
remember.
Martin's favourites.
Yeah.
Was that a race with Edwardstone in it? Maybe not. Maybe I'm confused.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
No. Anyway, I won't try and be smart. Definitely won't try and be smart. Okay, Alex, you kick us off on this one then.
Matty's first this one, isn't he? We've got a tip from Matty Luke.
Sorry,
Yes,
we've got
in his absence.
We've got a clip from Matty. So without further ado, we'll go across to Matty Luke for this one.
Good evening all, Matty here from the Cheltenham Exchange. Unfortunately I can't be online with the lads this evening due to work commitments. One that I like the look of this weekend is in the 2:10 on day one, the Novices Chase over 2 miles. That's Orcan Risk. Keen to see how he goes this season over fences. Had a somewhat busy campaign last season, running in 3 bumpers from the 4th of October to the 14th of November, winning one of those at Stratford and then finishing 4th of 15 behind Bonte and 3rd of 8 behind Time for a Tune, both at Cheltenham. He then went over hurdles for the remainder of the season, winning 4 of his 6 hurdle starts, with his 2 defeats coming on hurdle debut, and then in the Grade 1 top novices hurdle at Aintree, finishing a well-beaten 4th of 9 behind John Bont and El Fabiolo. He made a pleasing chase debut when coming away with a win, beating the reopposing Jitoil. He wasn't particularly fluent throughout that race, which is expected with novices, so we'll have learned a lot from that. I think he'll take the beating here in this race tomorrow, at 3-1 at the time of recording. The Chris Gordon yard are in red hot form at the moment, with a 55% strike rate over the last 14 days, and Tom Cannon riding just as well, 40% strike rate in the saddle. I'm keen to keep an eye on how he goes over the fences, as he is one potentially on my list for something like the Grand Annual at the festival in March.
Okay, thanks for that, Matty. Great stuff. Alex, if you're now prepared, assuming you're not just going to copy what Matty's just given us.
Well, funnily enough, I have actually got the same horse. I've been following him ever since he placed behind Bonte in the bumper at Cheltenham on this card last year. Since then, he's won 4 over 6 over hurdles, and then he made his chase debut last month. And it sort of looked, he jumped better the further he went. So I think it was just maybe a little bit of confidence at the beginning, and he just yeah, as I say, just sort of grew into it the further he got. So probably my best bet of the day, I think, Risk.
Bet of the day for Alex. Thank you very much. Ian?
Well, I'm going slightly different, but you'll see a pattern with my next 3. So the first of my Gordon Elliott horses is Ash Tree Meadow. So Gordon Elliott, Davy Russell on board. He's already had 6 runs this season, so 5 during the summer months. He's run over various distances, 2 mile to 2 mile 6. So the trip back down to 2 miles was a bit of a surprise. So I'm hoping he'll be fine over 2 miles. Just a slight bit of form. He was beaten by Hewitt, who's one of the talking horses at the moment, in July at Galway. Ash Tree Meadow was 4th, and I think it was about 7 lengths difference. His last run was against Authorised Art, who's with Willie Mullins. Authorised Art has won his last 4 out of his 5 races, and the defeat for Authorised Art was by Tullybeg. You'll notice a link with Tullybeg later on in my picks, who runs in the 320. Will love the good ground, so I'm hoping that Mr. Russell will kick us off with a good win. So Ash Tree Meadow for me.
Ash Tree Meadow, Ian, and over to you, John.
Yeah, I quite like Ash Tree Meadow, but I just feel that this trip is on the short side for him. I'm quite surprised they've dropped him back in trip for this. I'm just wondering whether it's just a spin on the track to get him used to it, maybe for a handicap plot later on in the season when he goes back up in trip. But yeah, I mean, he is one to watch in this race and see how he gets on. But I'm with Alex and Matty on Oaken Risk. He's had a couple of goes round here last year where he ran well. I just think he's a better horse than he was then. You know, he's had a recent run lately and won that, and the confidence is high with him. So yeah, he's a decent jumper. I think he's got a great chance tomorrow.
Thanks, John. Oaken Risk. So Oaken Risk, bet of the day, I think Alex mentioned, and also strong selection for John and Matty. And Ian's on the Irish Raider. Thank you, gents. And we move on to the 3rd race of the day, the 2:45, the Ballymore Novices Hurdle over 2 mile 4. Decent field again, 12 runners, a race that I believe was won by Campron last year.
What are your faves?
Good old Campron. Well, not my type of a price, that though. Won't get much for my 50p there. Right, Ian, I think it's your turn to kickstart, is it?
So here's the second one. Gordon Elliott again, Davy Russell again. It's in the 2:45. It's Music Drive, carrying 11 stone 5 as the one maiden hurdle run and win at Galway over 2 mile 3 and won by 2 3/4 lengths. But what caught my eye was the bumper form from last season. Now, he was 8th in the champion bumper at Cheltenham, which Facile Vega won, was 5th in the Punchestown bumper, and was also 2nd behind Redemption Day at Leopardstown at Christmas. And he's won bumper when it was against Sandor Clegane in February that year. So all of them all tie into that champion bumper form from Cheltenham and from Punchestown. He has one on good ground, but it's another one of my picks that might need to drop a rain tonight or in the morning. Noticed a few of the others have not really gone this distance before. I've got Not Now Linda, Flaming Moon even. And there's another horse in the running tomorrow called She's Electric, and she seems to want further. So this is one of the reasons why I like Music Drive, because he's one at that distance. But there is one that I've noticed, an interesting one that's potentially each way. I think it's a massive price, about 40 or 50 to 1. It's called Wounded Knee. And he's an interesting pick because he's had 3 runs and 3 wins all at Perth, 2 of them at 2 mile. And then the third one was a massive jump up to 3 mile and 1. So it's just an interesting fact that they've come to Cheltenham. And again, the middle of the road, about 2 mile 3, 2 mile 4. I just thought it was the funny way of running, going from 2 to 3 and then coming back to middle. Just thought at that price, I thought it was quite an interesting run, an interesting pick. So keeping an eye out for Wounded Knee.
Looks like he's been backed a bit because he's 22 to 1 with Hills.
Really? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So when I was doing one now, it was 50 to 1.
Yeah.
Blimey.
33s on Bet365. I can't imagine Anne Duffield sends many down to Cheltenham. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's more like my price, Ian.
Yeah. Do you have one of your 50p each ways, OJ?
Yeah.
Mhm.
One more to jinx you.
I think it's Sam Tristan on it tomorrow. I might be wrong.
Gavin Sheehan, according to the Racing Post.
Totally wrong. Gavin Sheehan.
Our Cheltenham correspondent, Mr. Galpin. Thoughts, please?
Oh, yeah, I want to put in a formal complaint here.
Oh.
So I put my selections in the chat earlier today, and all of my first 3 have been picked by other people as well. So yeah, I'm on Music Drive as well. So
this is getting the crowd excited, though. This is getting the crowd excited.
I spotted the same things as Ian.
Thinking alike.
Yeah, all I can say is I'm expecting to see Davey getting stuck in from the back of the last.
Dropping it off.
Chopping it off.
And chopping it off.
Some Music Drive for Mr. Galpin as well as Mr. Rayner. I like it. John.
And a formal complaint.
And a formal complaint. I'll take it on board.
In writing.
And in future, don't pass when you're given that opportunity. Speak first. Don't pass it up. Don't pass it up. Mr. Evans, struggling with this one a bit, were you?
Yeah, there's no real selection from me. I looked at it last night, went round in circles. I tried again today with a fresh mind, and I still went round in circles. I don't know. It's just anyone's race. This. If you were to put a gun to my head, I'd go for Apple away each way, carrying 10 stone 12 with Mull Queen riding. So that's just a real tentative pick, but it's something.
Not tempted by Matthew Smith having another one in here. Flaming Moon.
Well, yeah, you could go for the double.
Go for the double.
Yeah, Brian Cooper.
Barney Rubble.
Fantastic. Lovely chaps. So, Music Drive seems to be the pick in there. Right. So, not rounding off the day at Cheltenham, but rounding our look at Cheltenham tomorrow is the 320. Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Ignore me.
Is the 320, which is the 888 Sport Novices Limited Handicap Chase over 2 miles 4. Just the 5 runners in this one. Tullybeg, currently market favourite. And he's sitting around 15 to 8 at the moment. The horse won last year. The race won last year by Annual Invictus. So yeah, go on, John. Hit us with it.
Yeah, it's a trappy little race, this one. And I do like Tullybeg. I've backed Tullybeg quite a few times before, but I just think the price has gone now. A bit short for me in that race. So I've come down on the rag, Found On, who won a 3-runner race last month. The runner-up Twig has gone on to win since, so the form's been franked. She's one of these horses who just gets on with it out the front. She's a very good jumper. And I'm just hoping that she jumps them all to death, really, sends them to sleep a little bit. And she's on a 5-timer as well. So, again, it's a horse with confidence. I think she's round about 7-1. I think she was 9s earlier, so a little bit of money's come. But yeah, I quite like that one. Found On.
Found On for John. Jumping them to sleep sounds better than jumping them to death as well, I think, by the way. Where do we go next? Ian?
Well, the final of my 3. So Gordon Elliott again, Davy Russell again, Tullybeg for me. Said 7 career chases, winning 2 over various distances. I think including up to 3 mile. His last win was at Wexford in September over 2 mile 4. Again, what I was saying about Authorised Art, it's all tied in as Tullybeg beat Authorised Art, and it was his only defeat this season. And again, Hewick is involved in some of these picks I've had. Tullybeg beat Hewick over 3 miles at Gowran in October. Another one, Should Love the Ground, Should Love the Good Ground, and a nice rate of about 11.6. The only real threat I could see was Hang In There for Emma Lavelle. But what put me off, I know it sounds a bit silly, it was only five runners in this, but Hang In There seems to run with just in the races with just 3 runners in each one. So 5 might not be that much, but I think I wonder if a slightly bigger field might throw the horse off a bit. But that's why I've come down on Tullybeg, 15-8, not much of a price, but put the 3 Elliott horses in the treble. I reckon you'll be quitting.
Lovely. Alex, your final selection on
well,
day 1,
after what Ian was saying about Hang In There, I'm siding with that horse. I remember him winning in, I think it was 2019 at Cheltenham, and I was really impressed. Just the way he sort of quick him around the bend, and I actually put him in my tracker, and he seemed to sort of lose his way over hurdles for a couple of years, and then sort of mid part of this summer after Aintree, they then sent him sort of novice chasing. First start went over 2, I think it was 2 miles. He came second, and then since then they then upped him up to 2.5 miles, and he's won 4 in a row. Goes from the front, makes all. I think that sort of suits sometimes around Cheltenham, and I've got no issues with sort of field size. I mean, he's won in a 14 horse race before, so yeah, I think he looks like a good bet, and hoping for a good result for Emma Lavelle and Andrew Gemmell.
Okay, so Hang In There for Alex, which means the smallest field that we've looked at, and we've got 3 different selections for the first time in the races. Hang In There for Alex, Tullybeg for the final leg of Ian's Irish treble, and Found On, the outsider of the field, for John the Hammer. And therefore dost end our selections for day 1 of the showcase meeting. Thank you, gents. Great stuff. And
I've got one
at
more.
this point, yeah. Well, I
yeah.
forgotten it.
Best of the rest.
I was just going to say, and now we're going to go across to friend of the show, Jamie Wren, who's going to give us a little view on a couple of the Irish runners.
Hi lads, this is Jamie Wren here, back in the local. Hope you have fun tonight recording your video for the Cheltenham Exchange, to the boys Ian, Matty, John. I've 2 horses for tomorrow, I suppose. In novice chase, I'm going to go for an each way value here of Strawfan Jack. I thought he was really impressive at fast last day, lads. 8-1, 10-1 I think each way. Now I know there's Arkonisk and Jetwal in the race, who were first and second you taxed her. Jetwal gets a £5 pull there. Then you have the likes of Soul Pretender, who's 150 rated. I don't think it really is a 150 horse, but I know Strawfan lacked the fine and the ratings, but I just thought he was impressive that day. And I know he's 129, a lot of improvement, but he was really impressive at fast last, jumped well, and he's been around the track last year. He was second last year in the handicap, or this time meeting last year, only beaten half a length. So that's my selection for tomorrow, Strawfan Jack. And my other selection is Music Drive for Gordon in the mares. I think it's the main hurdle, novice hurdle. 8 in the champion bumper, 1 is main hurdle at Galway. I would love that hill at Cheltenham. 5-2 at the moment. I think it's a great bet. Moving on to Saturday, I have 2 again for Saturday. I really like to look St. Palais. He's 4-1 at the moment for the 3 mile novice hurdle. I think it will beat Wrexham, the John McConnell horse. And I think my Napo then for Saturday will be the Hollow Ginge. Second in that same race last year, off 137, down £10 to 127. This horse has to be a good thing. Lads, if you want this video, yeah, no problem, and I'll see you soon, and best of luck to the Cheltenham Exchange.
Thank you very much, Jamie. So now are we ready to move on to day 2, gents?
No, John's got one. He's got a best of the rest.
Oh, he's got a best of the rest for day 1. Sorry, I was looking a bit blank there. Looking a bit old Liz Truss there, so I was. Didn't know what was going on. So yeah, obviously there are other races left on day 1, and John's got a little gem for us. Take it away, John.
Well, I don't know if it's a little gem as such, but it's a bit of an obvious one, really. I just think the 355 race, you've got Cool Cody in there, back over hurdles. It's interesting that he's £10 higher over fences. If he's ready to go, then I think he'll have a decent chance here. He obviously loves the track, and he won back in March, although it was over fences. I just think he could have a good chance, although it is a very competitive race. Yeah, I'm not sure what price he is. I think he's about... so I think like a filthy each way on that, but I can't see you losing any money if you back him each way.
Second in it last year, I think. I remember looking last night.
Yeah, and Cheltenham Festival winner. Facts.
Okay. Cool Cody. Yeah, he's an absolute Cheltenham lover, isn't it? Right. Moving swiftly along on to Saturday. Day 2 of the Cheltenham Showcase meeting kicks off at 1:30 with the 888 Sport Novices Hurdle run over 3 miles. And currently we've got a field of 8 in here, which, yeah, assuming all runners stay in, may provide some each way betting opportunities. So, Ian, do you want to kick us off here on Saturday?
Okay, so I've gone for a horse called Saint Palais. Richard Bandy with Brandon Powell on board. 5-year-old carrying 11 stone. Has won 4 of his last 5 runs, most of them over 3 miles. He beat one of Alex's favourites in December, Jericho Rock. And then last season come across a Ahoy Signor at Weatherby. I think Ahoy Signor beat him by about 20, 30 odd lengths, but he was a class 1. But after that run, Saint Palais went up to a class 2 and won at Uttoxeter in March time. Another one that hopefully would prefer some rain, so a bit of softer ground, good to soft. So I'm going to go with, to kick us off for the Saturday, Saint Palais.
Saint Palais for Ian. Thank you, Ian. Alex.
When I sort of first looked at this race, I couldn't really, I didn't really like any of the top 3 in the market. I didn't particularly like Wrexham. I definitely don't like Shearer. And I thought Saint Palais is, more of a chaser, really. He's much better with his fences. So I've gone with a bit of a left field one, which I think could probably be, it's one of those ones where it's that typical could be anything. And I've gone with The Moon Sees Me. He's run twice, once in a point-to-point, or a P2P, as Ian likes to call it. he won his P2P, and then he also won on debut over hurdles. Gordon Elliott, Davy Russell's on board. At the prices, I'm going to take a chance. That's all I've got.
I'm really sorry. I don't want to be stuck in the mud or whatever. According to Racing Post, Kennedy's on that one and Davy Russell is on the other.
Oh no!
I don't know whether that affects
you.
I'm
still sticking with The Moon Sees Me.
Okay, because Music Drive is as talking now. Music Drive still declared
tomorrow.
Okay.
So I would say he won't go Saturday. So Davey might still be on. You never know.
In which case, Davey might.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for my man Davey.
Lovely, John.
And then your each way's ruined then, isn't it? If that one comes out.
Oh yeah.
As usual. So yeah, it's got to be the McConnell horse, Wrexham, for me. Obviously, he's a bit of a talking horse on a lot of these videos with ABW putting him up quite early on. I'm a big fan of him as well. If he wants to be an Albert Bartlett horse, he's got to be he's got to go very, very close in this. I've already backed him for the Albert Bartlett a long time ago at, I think, 75 to 1 with Hills, which was a decent price at the time. I've just been really impressed with him. He jumps well. His form's been franked a few times. In fact, it's been franked recently by the fantastically named Toss again. So that's a good name. Toss again. Toss again. That went in at Killarney earlier this month, and he beat that by 5 lengths. So, yeah, I think this will be a good opener for him here at Cheltenham, and hopefully he can go through the season and win the Albert Bartlett in March.
Lovely stuff. Okay, so a couple of Irish picks. Wrexham for John. The Moon Sees Me at the other end of the card for Alex, and St. Palais for Ian. Moving swiftly along. We haven't got any recordings off Matty for Saturday, I think.
No, that's it, mate.
No more recordings.
No more recordings, good. Okay, so the 205 on Saturday is the 888 Sport is Made to Play Handicap Chase. Class 2 race over 3 miles, 1 furlong on the old course. Currently 10 runners in here. Tullybeg is currently declared in here as well.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Again, Elliot's got a couple in here. So, give us your thoughts, please, John.
Yeah, well, I actually like one of Elliot's. I think Motown Maggie is overpriced in this. It's a horse I've followed, actually, ever since we got the dossier a few years ago. She was on there. She won a listed chase she won a novice chase, at the Stowell last month. But she did run about a week later at Tipperary and got beat into second. But she's been over the shores a few times at Ayr up at Kelso up in Scotland there. So I'm interested to see how she gets on in this race. Again, it's a very competitive race. And again, also, it could be a bit of a scouting mission for Gordon for later in the season. But I just think at the price, I think she's about, just check now, 10 to 1. I just think that's a decent each way bet. And again, it's one of those races that you can stick a pin in, really. I think there's 5 or 6 in with a lively chance in this race. But I'm going to stick with Maggie.
Motown Maggie for John. Alex?
I'm going with Fergal O'Brien's Captain Cattystock. One thing I can say is he's a confirmed stayer because he's won at Cheltenham over 4 miles before. That was April last year. Then April this year, he went from the year before running in a hunter's chase to running in a handicap chase. And he beat Mr. Malarkey, Storm Control, Under Supervision. So some good horses in there. I mean, his last 2 appearances at the course he's won. So obviously he handles the track. He's a confirmed stayer. He jumps well. I mean, he's still an each way price. What's not to like, really?
Not to like. 6 to 1 currently at the moment for Mr. O'Brien. What's the weather forecast for Saturday? Is it looking
Raining?
So it's going
And
to
if
need
it
to
rains
stay.
a lot, it will just be really sticky and horrible on the top of the ground because that's what always happens at Cheltenham. And then, like a few days later, the ground's back to normal again. So, I mean, if it rains a lot over the next couple of days, it could end up being quite testing. But I mean, it's not going to be classed as heavy or anything. Or, I mean, probably not even soft, but it can become quite tacky and quite stamina testing if we do have a lot of rain in a short period of time.
Okay. Mr. Rayner.
OJ, have you ever heard the term "great minds think alike"?
I have, funnily
Okay,
enough.
well,
Not that I've ever been accused of having a great mind.
Same as Alex, so it's no one me and Alex are in the same camp. So literally not much else I could add. So Alex has said a majority of the notes I've written down. The only thing I could add is that Liam Harrison's on, taking £3 off, so it would be a level 4 with 3 off, so a nice way to be level 1. But everything else, as Alex has said, saying about Cheltenham previous form and winning over big distances. I think it's also beat a horse called The Wolf, which is in the race, over 3 miles 7 at Musselburgh in February. So he's, I think he was 9, one of the old boys in the race, but I think he's going to do it. So Captain Catissock as well for me.
Captain catches stock for Mr. Galpin and Mr. Rayner.
Yeah.
We got a few of these selections now, haven't we? Where we're doubling up. Hunters will be going wild. Views will be going up. Captain catches stock and Motown Maggie down at the bottom of the weights for John. Lovely. Right, so we move swiftly along to the 240 at Cheltenham on Saturday. Masterson Holdings Hurdle, 2 miles, half a furlong. And sitting right at the head of the market here, we've got the one and only Pied Piper. So, Mr. Galpin, I think it's your turn to lead the way.
Hang on.
Okay.
Oh,
So, I'm a big fan of Knight Salute, so he's my selection. I've got the thumbs up in the end. Those of you that watched our festival preview, I put him up for the festival, and he obviously didn't quite do it. He just didn't perform in the Triumph. Then he went to Aintree at a big price, and then beat Pied Piper. A bit unexpected, but yeah, I'm going to stick with him to confirm sort of the places from last time. We know he handles the track. I mean, same with Pied Piper, really. We know they've both handled the track. They've both won here. I mean, if the prices were the other way around, I'd probably be backing Pied Piper. But because Knight Salute's the 9-4 sort of 5-2 shot in places, that's who I'm going to back. I mean, to me, it's probably a coin flip between those two. I can't see either of the other three really getting involved. I'm sure I'm going to probably end up with egg on my face when neither of those two even come in the first two, and something else wins and something else second. But yeah, that's my opinion. I think it'll be between those two. To me, it's a 50-50 really. And at the prices, I can't go away from Knight Salute.
Knight Salute from Milton Harris for Alex. I got a feeling Ian might be on Knight Salute, so we'll skip across to John.
Yeah, it's a bit of a watching brief for me, this one. I think all the top three in the market, Pied Piper, Knight Salute and Dr. Parnassus, all showed some pretty good form last year, and they all won a couple of races at least each. Was Pied Piper disqualified, wasn't he, at Aintree when Knight Salute won?
It was a dead heat, wasn't it? And then they reversed it because there was
interference. When that's what I remember.
But Paddy Brennan, who was on Knight Salute, said that there was no he said that it should have stood the result. He said the result was fair, and then they gave him the result anyway. So
yeah, that's right. They did.
He's a class act, Paddy, isn't he?
I think with them all, like they were all juveniles last year. I think it's one where if you're actually at the track, it's one to have a look at in the parade ring really and see which horse looked like it's grown a bit and summered well. So it's a bit of a watching brief for me, this one, OJ. So a no bet race for me. Watch and enjoy.
If only we had someone at the track to cast their eye over it.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for a message from him.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right, Mr. Rayner, give us your selection. You're not allowed Knight Salute because Alex has already taken it.
Yeah, Knight Salute again is our fourth pick. Me and Alex both like. So exactly what you said. I've put the form lines with Pied Piper literally are near identical. Both won at Cheltenham last season, both on good ground. The only thing I thought was quite interesting that the only time that Pied Piper didn't win was at the festival, and Jack Kennedy was on Pied Piper. And Davey was been on board last Q3 was trying. So if you want to pick bones, that could be something, might not be. But other than that, some other notes that we just said about it. The Knight Salute won when the decision was overturned. But so at the prices, I think Knight Salute might just edge it. So that's my pick. And Alex's pick.
Knight Salute is Ian and Alex's pick.
Yeah.
Again. And a watching brief for John. Lovely. Right. So the fourth race of the day will conclude our look at the showcase meeting, although there are obviously 3 races after. And due to my lack of preparation, one of you may have something sitting outside that you want to mention. But we'll swiftly move on to the 3:15, the 888 Sport Handicap Chase over 2 miles. 7 runners declared at the moment. Editor Dujit and Clear the Runway and the Widowmaker all sort of sitting towards the top of the market. Willie Mullen's got Dad's Lad. Ian, give us your views.
Okay, I wonder if Alex has got the same. But I've picked Ethanoc Fizz for Cian Michael Collins and Sam Ewing, 10 stone 8. And what I've noticed, I think this horse has run about 300 times during the summer, so something ridiculous amount of times.
Like Binding.
Yeah.
3 times a day.
Yeah. So it's, the horse has changed hands as well, believe it. And all that time he's been running, it's changed hands as well to Cian Michael Collins. His last win was at Foss at the beginning of the month, winning a Class 2. Beat horses like Milkwood, Severance, Glory and Fortune are no mugs.
This would be his 14th run since the beginning of May.
Ridiculous. 14, I think he's run on the flat in Ireland. He's run over hurdles in Ireland. Run over hurdles over here. It's ridiculous, but it's still going. He loved the good ground, and it's only gone up £2 since its last win and run. So Ethanoc Fizz for me in the 3:15.
Ethanoc Fizz, another Irish raider for Mr. Raider.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
I really like Clear the Runway for this. He's on for a 6-timer. He's a bit of a winning machine. Fancy him to go really, really, really well against quite a few exposed types in this race. And I think he's the one who's still improving. He does tend to jump a little bit left at some fences, but with it being Cheltenham left-handed, hopefully that shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, you got Adam Wedge in the saddle, so he won't lack for a decent jockey in it. I like Wedgie, so yeah, I'm Clear the Runway. I think he's got a very good chance to win this one.
Good jockey, Wedgie.
Yeah, you like Wedgie?
You like Wedgie, and it'd be a bit of a notch for Laura Morgan, wouldn't it? As well, she's coming along nicely as a trainer, isn't she? He rides a lot of hers now, doesn't he, Wedge?
He does. He does.
Okay, Galpin Deschamps. Round it off for.
My last selection for the first day is Editor Dujit, one of my favourites over the last couple of years, really. Probably my bet of the day, OJ.
Bet of the day.
So I put him up for the festival in our preview. He ran really well, ran into 4th in the Grand Annual. He was very much unsuited by the ground, though. Yeah, less we say about that, the better. He's on the same mark now, but I think he's still got some room for improvement. He won 2 races at Cheltenham last season in November and December. In November, he beat a horse called, I always get this one wrong. It's either Stolen Silver or Silver Forever. I always get those two mixed up. I don't know why. It's just in my head the wrong way around. So he beat this horse who went on to finish 4th in the handicap plate at Cheltenham as well, also unsuited by the ground. And that then went on to win at Cheltenham in the April meeting. So, I mean, there's
Silver.
Stolen Silver. See, I was thinking Stolen Silver, but the number of times I've said Silver Forever and I mean Stolen Silver. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, at 153, I think there's still some room there with his mark. And loves the course. Horses for courses. Got to back a previous Cheltenham winner.
A lot of weight though, Alex. 12 stone.
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't bother me.
I wish I was 12 stone. Jesus.
Yeah, mate.
So, bet of the day. To round things off, Alex's bet of the day, Editor Dujit. Lovely. Great stuff. Great stuff, chaps. Oh.
I've got one more.
Oh,
He's got one more.
Got one more.
So,
I've got to put this one in because he's a bit of a cliff horse for me. 350 Botox has. He won his last race at Fontwell at 20-1 last season, but he was only put up £1 for that win. And I think he still could be on a winning market of 140 he's on. He's got course form. He won back in October 2020 here. And I think if he's ridden quite prominently, he'll take a lot of beating in this. And he also goes well fresh. He's won fresh before as well. So Yeah, I think he'll go well in the 350, and it's got Jamie Moore on as well for his dad, so that should be good.
Botox has a little bonus selection for John.
Mm.
Streets of
Oh.
Doyen going in there as well. Wasn't that a
Yes,
little
at the
old
bottom,
favourite of
16 to
ours?
1.
That's another one of your favourites, Johnny. Streets of Doyen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be. Yeah, he's gone off the boil a little bit, hasn't he?
Kansas City Chief, 13, still going, 25 to 1.
They changed trainer with him.
Oliver Sherwood.
No, he was with Neil Mulholland before, wasn't he? Last
Oh.
season. Kansas City
Definitely.
Chief.
Definitely.
So they've
It's
changed
had
trainers.
one run for Sherwood.
Hmm.
But Victoria's still on claiming 7.
And it's the same owner. They, for some reason, just changed trainers. It's a bit strange considering he went on a pretty ridiculous streak of wins last year.
And Matty's old favourite goes in there as well, Ante-Post, who, when we went to the November meeting last year, he fell, didn't he? He was all over it like a rash, and it fell at the first fence.
At the first, didn't it?
Yeah, I must admit, I couldn't stop laughing. and then he went out a few weeks later and won the next race. Matty hadn't backed him, so yeah, that was good fun.
I just looked at that, John. Funny enough, it's got form behind Marie's Rocks. That could be quite interesting.
That would be my second choice in the race, actually. I might even have a go on both of them each way, but yeah, that's got a good chance as well. It's very rarely out of places.
Oh, it's a Pertemps qualifier, that race. I didn't realise, sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
So
really, I want Botox House to finish. I want Botox House to finish fourth.
First four, new rules, folks. We've educated you.
Find somebody that's not trying the first 2 miles and then stays on to finish 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, the one in the green and yellow.
Yeah.
And there is one as well. And didn't they leave you out too?
There you go. There's your one that'll finish 4th.
JP horse.
Yeah, finish 4th. That.
Is that
green
Nick
and gold?
Nick Gifford, yeah.
Sure, that ran on flat a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, I digress. Right, okay. I think just about it, was it? To round off day 2 and to round off the showcase meeting. Should we have a quick round of all the selections? Just so all our hundreds of viewers, thousands of viewers.
Thousands.
And
thousands
you want me to do mine first?
Yeah, so go on, Ian, give us a quick run through, please.
Okay, so on the Friday, I've got Lively Citizen, 1:30, 2:10 Ash Tree Meadow, 2:45 Music Drive. We'll keep an eye out for Wounded Knee, 3:20 Tullybeg, and then on the Saturday, 1:30 Saint Palais, 2:05 Captain Catissoc. I have to get that one right. 2:40 Night Salute, and then 3:15 Effanock Fizz.
Love it. Alex, a lot of these copied from Ian, obviously. So
other way around. Owen. Okay, other way around. Ian's been.
Alex did put he's up first on our chat.
Yes, I've got. I got in first.
I know you did.
I've got Lively Citizen in the first on the Friday, Auckland Risk in the second, Music Drive in the third, and Hang in There in the fourth. And then on Saturday, I've got The Moon Sees Me in the first race. I'm on the captain for Fergal O'Brien in the second.
Have to stop.
Go on, Paddy, lad. Oh no, Paddy's not on it. He won't be very happy. In the third race, I've got Night Salute, and then in the fourth, Editor de Gite.
Better the day.
Better the day for me.
Thank you, Alex. And Mr. Evans, round it all off.
Friday, 1:35, One Cool Poet each way. 2:10 Auckland Risk. 2:45, I'm going to skip that one. 3:20, I've gone for the outsider Found On. And then thrown in on the 3:55 Cool Cody. Then Saturday, we've got 1:30 Wrexham, 2:05 Motown Maggie each way. 2:40 is a Watching Brief. 3:15 Clear the Runway. And finally, 3:50 Botox has.
Thank you, gents. Another good evening, another good chat. I've enjoyed your company. I've enjoyed listening to your fantastic knowledge. I genuinely mean that. I love listening to you guys talking racing, and hopefully the amount of people following us will keep on growing because yeah, it's good to listen to, gents. I really do enjoy it. Thanks to Matty, stuck on a train somewhere, for sending through his voice recording, and
Wanking on the train.
what did you say?
Nothing.
And thank you to Mr. Jamie Wren for sending in a little snippet as well. Very kind of you, sir. So yes, folks, keep watching. We'll have some new stuff for you again soon. Keep on commenting and chatting away. We love discussing any of your thoughts in the YouTube comments and on Twitter. And yeah, we'll see you all again soon.